The creatures leaving Devil's Sinkhole swirl into the Texas skyline. Each evening, over 1 million Mexican freetails drop from their roosts. They circle counterclockwise within the cave, launching themselves into a 60-foot bat tornado. Then they surge from the hole, streaming into the night in search of food. But 150 feet below this hole lies the largest subterranean chamber in Texas. For over 100 years, explorers have risked life and limb exploring entire worlds right under our feet. Steve Foster has spent a good part of his life in and around this sinkhole. And his boyhood adventures here were captured on film in a movie produced by his dad and starring his 2 older brothers.
Oh, man. I had no idea it'd be this big. I'll drop a rock. You time it. 4 seconds. Oh, that must be 200 feet.
Well, the film was made by my dad.
Let's go look.
They filmed it all silently.
This is a hole.
The voices are not my brothers,
You're looking awful small down there.
but they got some actors from out in California to put the words to it.
The film is loosely based on a true story when John and Wesley Foster dropped themselves into the bowels of Devil's Sinkhole.
That sure is a long way down yet, Wes. Yeah, but you'll make it all right.
I was asking him a few days ago about climbing out of there, and he said, I'm not getting near that hole anymore. And he said, if I had any sense, I wouldn't have done it then either.
Hey, there's some little bugs in there. I want to study this cavern some more. This is real geology.
Dad was pretty careful about things, and he made sure that they did things properly so that, nobody would get hurt.
Fred Foster was a U.S. Navy photographer during World War I. After returning to the States, he moved to Hollywood and worked as a cameraman at the old RKO studios. By the time he returned to Texas, Fred was an experienced filmmaker with a slew of cinematic tricks up his sleeve.
Hey, watch it!
The ladder had been pre-cut so that when he kind of wiggled it right, that it would just go ahead and collapse. And it gives you the impression that he's just barehanded, but he's got a safety device underneath it.
I'm real glad to hear that, because I've watched it many times and it scares me to death to watch it, to think that he was on that ladder when it broke and he just happened to grab the rope like it appears they did. So they did a real good job of early special effects. They fooled me.
About 6 miles from Devil's Sinkhole lies the small town of Rock Springs.
As he climbed the ladder, the rope was pulling him up.
Was your dad planning on that happening?
Yeah, they cut the ladder intentionally.
In these parts, the Foster name has achieved a sort of minor celebrity status. But Steve's father, who was well-versed in the art of filmmaking, had very little experience from the financial end of the business.
Uh-oh, you're gonna have to help me.
He had an opportunity at one time to sell the film to Walt Disney in California. He was offered about $90,000 for the rights to distribute the film, and he decided that he could do it and make that much plus a bunch more.
What did you ever get me into all this for anyway?
But Fred Foster massively underestimated the challenge of booking his movie into theaters. This was, after all, a time when Walt Disney was releasing family classics like Fantasia and Snow White. His mistake cost him dearly. Devil's Sinkhole received very limited release, and few people saw the final product. Over time, the film became a forgotten relic, left to decay in these round metal canisters. Then, over 40 years later, Steve Foster began the ambitious process of restoring and reassembling his father's old film.
I'm proud of what he did with it, and I'd like to see his legacy live on with that film. And I think there maybe is going to be more people see it now than even in his lifetime, and that would be great. He'd be pleased with that.
I'll be jiggered. What's that up there? What are you talking about? That's bats. Bats, John, bats.
Cavers enjoy seeing it because there's some campy things in it. There's some fun things in it. There's some violations of safety practices that cavers find amusing. And I think a big part of the story is that they knew what they were doing when they filmed it.
Yeah, right here in front, JKF. That was my older brother that was in the film. When I walk up to the edge over here on the platform, I feel secure until I get right to the edge and look down, and then my knees begin to get weak again. It's spooky looking down in it. I think it's got a very appropriate name, the Devil's Sinkhole.
Now we got you.
The adventures of John and Wesley Foster have long since passed, but the film itself will forever be a snapshot from another era, indicative of its time, a brief period of great exploration in the skies, under the water, and under the ground.
But I'll never go in there again the way we did. They had the right idea when they named it the Devil's Sinkhole.